Positive energy all the time. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing great. Hawkeye, good to see you. On Power, good to see you. Danielle, always a pleasure. One of the Most High, good to see you. Rastaman, good to see you. Kathy, how you doing? Well, Irv Gotti passed away at the age of 54 years old. Rest in peace to Irv. He's been battling diabetes for a while. And basically, it's just a tragedy, you know. This is basically a form of suicide, to be honest with you. It's the month of February. Today is Bob Marley's birthday. Rest in peace to Bob Marley. And it's also my birthday month, February 22nd. And on the 22nd of this month, I'll be 67. And I'm going to tell you straight up, especially from the age of 45 up, it's very hard to stay alive. It's very hard to stay alive. You have to work to stay alive. I know many of you that's watching this probably wondering, what am I talking about? But I'll tell you that without knowing it, there's a lot of things you're doing to stay alive. You're just not conscious of it. Your security for your home. A lot of that has to do with protecting your possessions and also staying alive, not being a victim of an attack. The way you drive. If you're wise, you're a defensive driver. You're not running red lights. You're not trying to beat trains. You're not driving at a speed where the car would be out of control. Right? So you're doing that to stay alive. For a lot of us, we're not abusing pharmaceuticals and other drugs. We're doing that to stay alive. For a lot of us, we don't drink a lot. We don't drink to the point we get cirrhosis of the liver or any type of kidney failure. We're doing that to stay alive. There's so many things we do in natural life to stay alive. And the older you get, the harder you have to work to stay alive. You actually have to work to stay alive. Now, before the fall of man and all this confusion, you still had to do certain things to stay alive. You couldn't let trees fall on you. You couldn't let snakes bite you. You couldn't let bears get you or alligators or lions. So it's a part of life. It's staying alive, and you have to be conscious of that. And if you're 45 and older, and especially if you're 50 and older, you better be trying to stay alive. Okay? You better be eating right. Okay? And that stuff you got away with at a younger age, You're not going to be able to get away with that. In some cases, by the time you're 45, you've already done horrible damage, and it will take extremely a lot of work to reverse that damage. See, I'm drinking a protein shake right now because as soon as this live is over, I got to get some type of physical exercise in, whether it's some push-ups or resisting cords or a walk or something. Crunches, bicycles, whatever. Because if not, your body would deteriorate. My mother, rest in peace to my mother and my father, my mother used to like to have plants in her living room and in her kitchen. And in order for her plants to be healthy and grow, there was things she had to do. She had to treat her plants. She had to nurture her plants. She had to water her plants. Sometimes she had to change the soil. Sometimes she'd have to put them in a bigger pot because so the roots could expand. She had to make sure they was in the right location to get sunlight or to not get sunlight. Some plants don't go good with direct sunlight. Some plants have to have sunlight. Well, your body is the same way. And unfortunately, Irv Gotti didn't know that or didn't respect that. So he didn't really take care of his body. He chased money, which you need money to live, but money won't keep you alive unless you have the right mentality on what to do with the money. I never could understand why people that are making nice amounts of money, whether you got a pretty good job or whether you got some type of business, I never could understand why they don't choose to eat the most healthiest foods. It never made sense to me because if something is processed, it's kind of cheaper. And for the really good foods, it's a little more expensive. So I never could understand why when somebody's rich or doing well off, I couldn't understand why they don't eat a lot of grapes, why they don't have seeded grapes. Like they can afford to get seeded grapes. They can afford to have seeded watermelons. They can afford to have like some of the best nuts and fruits and berries in the world. They can afford to never have to use plastic and always drink out of glass and eat off of glass, and they can afford to have the best cast iron cooks where I never could understand why they would do detrimental things to their body when they got that kind of money and why they would never do no research. And so Irv, he was battling diabetes, but he wasn't willing to do what was necessary to stay alive. And it's sad, that his family's got to deal with all of this just because he was stubborn. I found this comment he made, and it's appalling. It says, Gotti, who had a history of health issues, including diabetes, opened up about his battle with the disease back in 2023. He said, it's rampant with Black people, he said on Drink Champs at the time. What it does is it starts deteriorating your body. No, it's not under control. I've been diagnosed with diabetes forever. It's hereditary. Now we're going to stop right there. Diabetes is not hereditary. Sickle cell could be passed down through the blood, but diabetes is not hereditary. Strokes are not hereditary. High blood pressure is not hereditary. Obesity is not hereditary. What he inherited was a bad lifestyle. That's what he inherited. He didn't inherit no diabetes. And he proves it because he says it's hereditary. When my blood sugar gets too high, a shot of insulin. Then he say it's reversible, but you got to change the way you eat. Wait a minute. If it's reversible, according to him, and you got to change the way you eat, that means if your mother and father got it and you grow up and you don't eat like them, you won't have it. So how is it hereditary if you're able to make it go away? How is it hereditary? How is it hereditary and reversible? He said it's reversible, but you got to change the way you eat, thereby proving that he inherited a bad way to eat. Another thing he says is interesting is he says it's rampant with Black people. One reason it's rampant with Black people is a lot has to do with the food that's in the Black community. Black people don't, nobody eats like us. We have a very specific way we eat. We eat the worst almost. And we inherited a changing lifestyle, meaning my parents were born in the 30s in Alabama. And when they came to Chicago and had me and my sister, they had a specific way they used to eat. There was no Fruit Loops. There was no tricks. There was no Lucky Charms when I was 2, 3, 4 years old. When I was little, children ate oatmeal for breakfast, cream of wheat, and cornflakes. You had to put your own sugar on the cornflakes. But here's the problem. In order to make the milk sweet, when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, we used to put too much sugar on there because when you put the sugar on there, you can't taste it because it's all at the bottom. So that causes you to put too much sugar on the cornflakes. So now when we get to eating the cornflakes and drink the milk, there would be a mountain, a little hill of sugar at the bottom of the cereal bowl. And then we would like eat that with the spoon and that's all that sugar. Then over a time, when I started getting to 6, 7, 8, that's when they started pre-sweetened. That's when they came out with Frosted Flakes and Honey Nut Cheerios and Tricks and Captain Crunch. All this came out so you didn't have to put no sugar in the milk. The sugar is on the cereal. But they know that the children like it exceptionally sweet. So breakfast was basically diabetic because back in those days, you still had breakfast, you had bacon and eggs, you had some type of biscuit or toast. Sometimes your parents would give you, your daddy would give you a grapefruit, or in your cereal, he would put milk in our, peaches in our cereal, or he would put bananas in our cereal. So you still ate a pretty rounded breakfast, but with this cereal being exceptionally sweet, and with you consuming bread and starches that's going to turn to sugar, that was an appetite for diabetes. By the time my young cousin, that's like 7 years younger than me, comes along, now they got chocolate chip cereal, chocolate chip cookie cereal, and all of Frankenberry and all that. That's the next generation. So it becomes even more diabetic. As time goes, the turnip greens start to kind of disappearing. The collard greens kind of started disappearing. And blacks started leaning more towards bread and fried chicken and French fries or potatoes. And the leafy greeny vegetables and the peas and the beans slowly started to leave out of dinner. Lunch was bad because mommy and daddy got to do what they got to do. So you got to eat some type of lunch meat, some type of prepackaged meat to make sandwiches, maybe turkey loaf, bologna, ham, stuff like that. So over the years, the way we ate was horrible. So if you look at Gotti being basically a little more than 10 years younger than me, like 13 years younger than me, he grew up eating straight trash. No, by the time he's 5 years old, no vegetables or anything like that. It's just meat, 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 cheese, potatoes. That's it. By that time, potato salad had been replaced with mac and cheese. Black people did not eat mac and cheese in the early 60s. A potato salad was the mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is fairly new to the black community. You know, your mother maybe made mac and cheese maybe once a year, maybe for Thanksgiving, but nobody made mac and cheese. No restaurant served mac and cheese. And so over the years, everything got worse. So when he says it's rampant with black people, and then when he says I've been diagnosed with diabetes forever, it's hereditary, that's a false statement. He was basically eating horribly, and he never wanted to change it because he said it's reversible, but you got to change the way you eat, all that. But you know what's effed up with diabetes? He says, so anything that you're gonna like or taste good is horrible for you. Now that's some nasty S. He said broccoli. He said you're supposed to eat some leaves in S like that. He said you're supposed to eat some leaves and stuff like that. So he had a very negative opinion about vegetables. He called it leaves because he was totally ignorant. He knew how to do things in the music business, but when it comes to food, he was totally ignorant. He says broccoli. The reason he says broccoli, because the black community no longer was cooking collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens, cabbage. So in his mind, cabbage, turnip greens, mustard greens, spinach, in his mind, that's negative. Don't taste good. He wants shrimps and lobsters, and he wants what he considers tastes good, cakes and ice creams and sodas and liquor. And when he speaks on vegetables, he says broccoli. So even while he was slowly deteriorating, he was still sending the Black community a negative, dark information. His information was dark. He was telling people that you got to eat nasty to be healthy. He says nasty. But I've never had no nasty sweet potatoes. I don't know what he's talking about. And he totally ignores fruit. So he doesn't see, this is what I'm saying, very unintelligent, because a part of being healthy is eating watermelon. I didn't know watermelon was nasty. I didn't know pineapples was nasty. I didn't know cherries and strawberries was nasty. So he was totally ignorant and unintelligent when it came to taking care of your body. Because you don't have to eat a lot of vegetables. You can eat a lot of fruit. Now, he will say that the fruit will mess up his diabetes, but I'm talking about what he would have had to do to not get diabetes. If you would have been eating fruit, if he would have been eating fruit rather than ice cream and cakes and cookies and all that stuff from the bakery, he never would have had diabetes in the first place. He's got diabetes for eating processed sugar and processed sugary treats and potato chips and Cheetos and Doritos and stuff like that. That's how he got that. So just in his choice of saying broccoli, which is also good if you know how to prepare it. But he says broccoli, you got to eat broccoli. Anything that tastes good, that's how you know he was ignorant. You can't eat it. You say you got to eat nasty stuff because he didn't have anybody around him with all that money, supposedly, and all that high elite. He didn't know how to get him a chef to cook him some good plant-based food. See? And it says a fool and his money shall soon part. And now he's parted way with his money because he was just not that intelligent. He just did not have it. You know, to the point where he basically committed suicide by food. And he let you know. You know what I'm saying? And so when he said blacks, he meant this: diabetes also disproportionately impacts blacks and Hispanics population. Black patients are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes than white patients. Hispanic patients are 70% more likely. And both groups face higher risk of being hospitalized or dying from diabetes complications. And this is because everything's a joke in the Black community. You know what I'm saying? Everything's a joke and nothing is really serious. The Hispanic community, since coming to America, they in the same boat. Everything is a joke. Everything is for the now. Now. And their taste buds are ruined because when you raised on garbage, you believe garbage tastes good. So many of the things that Irv Gotti says taste good really is nasty. But his taste buds were totally shot. So he had been brainwashed and rewired to think what he's eating is good. And it's actually not. And so, like, once you get used to eating whole foods and you go eat artificial, you can taste it. If you make two types of Cheetos, the regular Cheetos and one made a plant-based Cheetos, and you blindfold me, I can tell you which one is which. I'll be able to tell you this is the artificial fake Cheeto, and it's nasty. This is the Cheeto made from all natural ingredients. You can taste it. And so the Babylon system has restructured everybody's taste buds. So your taste buds are shot. They've been able to sell you stuff that's not what they say it is. They've been able to just basically ruin your taste buds. And that's how the brother got diabetes. It's a shame. You know, and hopefully his children break the cycle. And hopefully he haven't, damaged them. Hopefully. So what this system has done is taken things like something simple like grapes. And what they've done in this system is they took something simple like grapes and they didn't even try to make their comparison even look like it. They have dumbed people down so much that they got you thinking this is the color of grapes. That's not the color of grapes. There's no grapes the color of the grapes on that can. This is the color of grapes. But they got our children, they tell you this is great. They tell you this is great. And they put all type of artificial flavors and artificial colors in there to make you think it's really great. Seriously. They basically is making a fool out of people right in front of your face. Let's take an apple. Let's take a green apple. This is a green apple. The part you eat is not green. Only the skin is green. If you juice an apple, this apple is not going to be green. Yet, guess what they sell you? They took the outside of the apple and didn't even give you the right color, because that's not the color of an apple. But this is green apple soda. Although there's no green juice in an apple, and that's not the same green. So they brainwashing our children to make you think that represents a green apple and that represents grapes, which it doesn't. It doesn't at all. This represents grape. And this represents an apple. So it's some high-level brainwashing going on. And all the stuff in there Think back when I was young and sometime the family would have a picnic, a family outing, or maybe just in the backyard, cook out in the backyard. And on those days, the relatives and stuff come, all the children come, and they would have just sodas everywhere, just cases of sodas. They have an ice chest, and they used to put the sodas in the ice chest. And on those days, it was a free-for-all. Sometimes my father would complain because when the events is over, there's cans everywhere with a third of a soda and a half a soda in there, where kids just opening up, drinking so much, leaving it. Then later opening another one, drinking half of it, leaving it. But my point is, we drink how many sodas? You 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many sodas do you consume on the 4th of July cookout at the house? You consume a diabetic amount because nobody's monitoring you on those days. It's just a free-for-all. You can open as many sodas as you want. Nobody's watching. The children is running, playing, getting thirsty, they're drinking a soda. Nobody's drinking water. How much sugar is that the child has consumed? Not to mention if the child ate any starches or any type of bread, like hot dog buns and stuff like that, all that's going to turn to sugar. How much sugar is that during a family cookout per child? Think about it. These companies, they do all type of experiment with mice and different animals, mostly mice. They put all type of sensors and stuff on these mice and rats. And they look at their brain stimulate when they feed them something. And they look how frantic they get over when they make it. And if they can make it, and it can make the mouse extremely frantic to eat it no matter what, that's what they feed you. All that food has went through intense experimentation to get you to like it. But they don't get you to like it with your taste buds. They get you to like it in your mind, and they have your taste buds affect your mind. And your mind tell you you like it, okay? It's all mind control for money. Your mind tells you you like it. Shea butter. Your mind tells you you like it. But in real life, you're a scientific experiment. And so now, this damages your perception through your taste. They also make it appealing to the eyes. And so now that your taste buds are ruined, when you're trying to eat natural, it don't taste right. So this is what Irv Gotti was going through. The reason he said it was nasty because his taste buds was totally desensitized. He doesn't have any taste buds. His taste buds are shot. They've already been reprogrammed. So even when they cook your meats and stuff, they cook your meats in stuff. That's what make you like it. It's seasoned a certain type of way. It's cooked a certain type of way to get you to eat it. And once you clean it, it's going to take you, and it takes 7 years to rearrange your taste buds. But they will start as soon as you start changing the way you eat. After about, 6 months, 9 months, a year, they'll start to change. But not to the point where you're healed. And so somebody like me, once I got to the point where I'm totally healed, when I eat that stuff, I won't like it. It doesn't taste right. So there's no chance of me just changing from being a plant-based now all these years, going on 47 years. I started when I was 20 and I'm about to be 67. There's just no way I would go back and eat it. So a lot of people don't understand that. They'll be like, Phil, could you go back and eat it? My taste buds, I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like chicken. I wouldn't like fish. It wouldn't taste good to me. Because I go all the way back to my childhood. If you look at your little children, your son 3 years old, first time you take him to McDonald's, you take him to McDonald's, you get him a drink, you get him a fry, you get him a sandwich. He will not eat the sandwich. No child's first experience at McDonald's eats the sandwich. They eat the fries and they drink the drink. Mommy have to keep saying, eat your burger, eat your burger. Those children would not eat that burger. They get programmed to eat the burger. And once mommy gets you to bite it a few times, then you become a burger eater. But there's no child, unless they've been overfed and already headed towards obesity, where their parents is obese already, and you got this little obese baby, 4 years old, he all, right? He might eat it. But the average child, and I got 6 children, none of my children would ever eat a sandwich. They're not going to eat that. They're going to eat the fries. And that's even if you get them a plant-based sandwich and fries. They're not going to eat no sandwich. They like to drink. Children like to drink. Babies drink bottles. Babies go through exceptionally lot of liquids. When my youngest was little, I used to get her juicy juice because I can get across the street, it was 100% juice. And she could go through juicy juice like crazy. She could go through milk and juicy juice like crazy. At that time, we was doing soy milk was getting big and almond milk. And she could go through that stuff like it was nothing. She could go through milk and she could go through liquids. She could go through liquids like it was nothing. Babies could consume liquids. They prefer liquids. And so this brother, his taste buds was shot. And he basically destroyed himself. And it's really sad, man, for me to see a brother pass away at such a young age like that, man. That's not acceptable, That's just not acceptable to me, that the brother passed away at 54 like that. And all that could have been avoided. And the fact that he was just so ignorant to the facts. For him to even say, so anything that you're going to like or taste good is horrible for you. So he's saying anything that tastes good that you're going to like is horrible. He said, now that's some nasty stuff. Broccoli. He said, you're supposed to eat some leaves or stuff like that. This is what he said 2 years ago. 24 months later or less, because he might have said it in the middle, so it probably ain't even been 24 months. He done passed away. Right after he get on Drink Champs talking crazy. Misleading the community. He didn't have the decency enough to tell the community, y'all eat right. He go in there and send more people to the graveyard early like himself. Seriously. Now, I ain't happy to see the brother passed away. Rest in peace to the brother, but he wasn't he wasn't really nobody I really cared for. I always thought he was bad for the community. His attitude was no good. And I never looked at him as anybody with any type of decency. And it just proves it right there. You're diabetic, you obviously dying, you've been super sick, and you can't even humble yourself to grown drink champs and talk our people into eating better. You're gonna tell our people, man, anything that tastes good ain't good for you. You gotta eat some leaves. You gotta eat some nasty stuff. This is what he tell the community. This is what he tell the community. And he on there with Nori, who almost drank himself to death. If you look at him, he trying to work out his stuff and turn his life. He ain't healthy like that. Ain't no knowledge on the show about nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole bunch of brothers and stuff out there watch that and just jump out the whole window with the way they taking care of themselves. Then you're going to turn around and say, it's rampant with black people. He opened his statement. He said, it's rampant with black people. He said on Drink Champs at the time. What it does is it starts deteriorating your body. No, the diabetes is not deteriorating your body. He deteriorated his body, and that's how he got diabetes. What is he talking about? Getting diabetes is already deteriorating your body. He says that the diabetes start deteriorating your body. Bro, if you got diabetes, your body deteriorated already. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is why if you're in music, just speak on music. Stay in your expertise. Don't jump over here in my lane because you don't know what you're talking about. If you got diabetes, your body's already deteriorated. What do you mean it starts deteriorating your body? You mean your body starts to deteriorate faster? Okay, say that. Yes, you eat trash, you consume trash, or it's all this toxic stuff in our atmosphere. You get cancer, and from the time you get the cancer and the cancer sets in, you've already been deteriorating. That's why you got cancer. Now that you've diagnosed the cancer, now it's just going to deteriorate faster. He says the diabetes start deteriorating your body. And it's the same with all this stuff, y'all. I'm trying to save some of y'all. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to save you. Because by the time you go and get the diagnosis, you've already destroyed your body. Okay, let's take colon cancer. Look at this diagram. They always talk about stage 2 or stage 3 colon cancer and then look at stage 4. Now, look at stage 1, but look at stage 0. That polyp, right? You already deteriorating. You're already deteriorating because that stuff in your colon, once it makes this first one, stage 0, you're already deteriorating. Ain't supposed to be no stages. Not supposed to be nothing in here, no lumps in here. So this little lump, when you're listening to the Babylon system, they trying to make you think you need to go get a colonoscopy so that they can go get that out. They won't tell you. You're not supposed to even have the little one in stage 0. You're not supposed to have that in your colon. So by the time you get to stage 3 to say you're deteriorating, you've been deteriorating at stage 0. This is the same for diabetes. This is the same for cancer. This is the same for all that. By the time you get diagnosed with the early stages, you already ruined yourself. You're trying to reverse it. How could you reverse it if it's not already damaged? And you go into these companies, but these companies is just like the drug dealers. You think they're going to tell you don't buy this? You think they're going to tell you don't spend the money with them? I'd like to know how many of the executives of these food companies, I'd like to know how many of them are vegan. Because I'm willing to bet that a lot of them is plant-based. I'm willing to bet that the people that make our food don't eat it. It reminds me, when I was in grade school, we went to the Sara Lee factory where they make the cakes and pies, Sara Lee. And all the people I talked to on the side said they don't eat it. Nobody worked there eat it because they see how it's made. And they all said, no, I don't eat this. And from the time I went to the Sara Lee factory and seen how it was made, I never ate another Sara Lee nothing. Because once you see what you're eating, it ain't appetizing no more. The sad thing is, I was eating other cakes and stuff, not really knowing it's the same thing, bro. But I'm a child. I don't know. I'm a teenager. I don't know. I don't know all this information at that age. Nobody gave me information. My parents were from Alabama. They didn't know. My parents was the switchover generation. That's why I'm telling y'all the facts. My parents was born in 31 and 35, and they came up here as the Great Migration. And that age group right there, they the ones that they switched from cornbread to Jiffy Mix, from oatmeal to Fruit Loops. That's the group they did. And I was a part of that group. And so as soon as I got an adult at 18, 2 years after 18, I came into my own. So at 20 years old, I'm not eating none of that. So imagine me going to my parents, the ones that come from Alabama, and have started to switch over from cornbread to Jiffy Mix. And then the son come and he want to go back to cornbread, but he don't want no milk in his cornbread. He wants some plant-based stuff in his cornbread. So not only did I go back to how my parents was raised, I went back further than them. I took it back better than how they was eating, because they was eating great. And it's no coincidence that when I got 20 years old and I wanted to go to the original way of eating, back further than how my grandfathers and even more cleaner than how they ate, all of a sudden, ain't no seeds in the grapes, ain't no seeds in the oranges, ain't no seeds in the watermelon. Now, y'all don't see the conspiracy? So when I'm coming along and we finna go back to the earth, to the natural, all of a sudden, they eliminate the natural. Y'all don't think that's a conspiracy? That all of a sudden, when I want to go back to fruit, they ruined all the fruit? You can't find grapes with seeds? I found grapes with seeds one time in 2024. Once I found some grapes with seeds. It's some brothers that bring watermelons from Mississippi, and I get my watermelons from them. That's the only reason I can find watermelons with seeds. I haven't ate an orange since I was a kid because I don't know what those things are. Those aren't oranges. I don't know what they are. With all the white stuff with the thick peel, no seeds, no juice. I don't know what that is. When I was a child, you couldn't even peel an orange because it would squirt everywhere. The peel was this thin. Oranges had so much juice in them, and the peel was so thin that parents, we never peeled no oranges when I grew up. Your mother would cut it in half, and you would eat it out the peel. You couldn't peel it because the peel was too thin. Juice would be running all down your arm, so they would just cut it in half. Nobody peeled the orange. Now you peel the orange, it's a peel like this. What is that? An orange peel was so thin that you couldn't peel it. It was a ball of juice. To the point, if you tried to dig in it and open it, it would squirt in your eye. Lemons used to squirt in your eye. Onions used to make the whole house tear up. I could cut an onion now. I don't even smell nothing. I got to do this to smell an onion. Anybody cut an onion and cried in years? I can cut onions all day. Nothing. Red ones, yellow ones, white ones, nothing. Nothing. And so I'm working like a dog to try to stay alive. It's hard work. It really is. And so that's why 60% Black patients are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes than white patients. Hispanic patients are 70% more likely. Remember I told y'all? I said all them Hispanics are going to come to the United States and get sick and go to prison. I told y'all that. When you look up these Mexicans in California stuff, they're going to all be fat, in prison, homeless, and all the bad things that's going to come with coming to this country. The food is going to kill them. Because all they Mexican food going to start being processed Mexican food. Look at this. 185,000 people have an amputation every year, which means 300 to 500 amputations are completed each day. So each day, 300 to 500 people get a limb amputated. The most common causes of limb loss are vascular disease, 54%, and trauma, 45%. Trauma like car accidents and stuff like that. So out of that 300 to 500, half of them, 150 to 250 is from car accidents and stuff. And the other 150 to 250 is definitely from their veins being messed up. %60 more likely that Black Americans will get diagnosed with diabetes. Every 4 minutes, a limb is amputated due to diabetes, and most are avoidable. Every 4 minutes. Listen, y'all. Watch this. 57 minutes divided by 4. It's been 14 amputations since we've been talking from diabetes. 14 people. Now, you understand what I'm telling y'all? Is it sinking in? Since we've been over here, almost an hour. By the time an hour comes, in 3 minutes is going to be an hour. In 3 minutes, there's going to be 15 amputations in 2.5 minutes from now. That's going to be 15 since we've been talking. 15 amputations since we've been talking. At least 62 million people live with diabetes in the Americas, a number which is expected to be much higher given that 40% of those with the disease are unaware they have the condition. So people, y'all, don't even know that they have it. Because 84.1 million American adults, more than 1 out of 3, have prediabetes. 9 out of 10 people with prediabetes don't know they have it. 1 out of 3 people got prediabetes. So how many people got diabetes and prediabetes? Who the hell knows? Where's that statistic? This ain't no joke, y'all. This ain't no joke. 62 million people. 37.3 million Americans, about 1 in 10 have diabetes. And about 1 in 5 people with the disease don't know they have it. Now here it says 62 million. And here it says 37. So I don't know who's telling the truth and who's lying. Because it says at least 62 million people live with diabetes, a number which is expected to be much higher. This was in November 2022. And this one say 37.3 million. So if we split the difference, that's still going to be 45, 50 million. Outcome disparities among Black patients. 3.2 times more likely to be hospitalized, Black people. 1.6 times more likely to have visual impairment. 3.5 times more likely to have end-stage renal disease. 2 times as likely to die from the disease. So we twice as likely, Black people in America, we twice as likely to die from diabetes. So, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to the brother, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just a sad situation, you know what I mean? Hopefully we can save the young people so they ain't got to go through this. So look, man, you got to take care of yourself out here, okay? Nobody ain't going to take care of you, okay? Nobody not going to take care of you. You got to take care of yourself. And Hawkeye say, looking at the views going down, people don't like these conversations. You know, the thing is, that's on them. You know, that's on them. For those of people that do watch and like it, then they're going to go do what they got to do. The ones that don't listen, they'll probably wish they would have. They'll probably wish they would have. Some people don't want to hear it because they don't. If they face the facts, they got a long, hard struggle ahead of them. They don't even want to comprehend changing the way they eat. That's not nothing they can even comprehend. So you gotta let people find out the hard way. So no, you know what I'm saying? This is for those that you see, when you talk about plant-based eating and going vegan as a roster eating ital and things like that, what you got to understand about my conversation is I have three different viewers. I have the people that want to watch and they trying to learn anything. I have the people that don't want to hear this that are watching and turn it off. But then I got the ones that's sick already. And this is heaven sent for them. I got the ones that just lost their mother or just lost their father. You see? So like, yeah, Irv Gotti might not listen, but his children will be very much interested in this conversation. So there's a certain audience out here that's already suffering from health issues. And that's the two main audience I'm trying to attract and I'm out here for. I'm out here for the ones that are intelligent, that want to prevent something happening. And I'm out here for the ones that's already obese, already overweight, already not feeling well. So the ones that don't want to listen, they're irrelevant. The ones that's relevant are the ones looking for life-changing advice and motivation to help them through this. And the wise ones that don't want to go through what Irv went through. It is what it is. So this is why I started this channel, and this is why I separated these conversations from over on my other channel to just target this over here. I'm not going to be talking about this on my other channel at all. The people that want to learn, they come to this channel and learn. And that's just what it is. And the ones, so many of the ones that don't want to listen, they're going to wish they would have. That's all I could tell you. They'll wish they would have, because the way we eat in this country and the way we take care of ourselves and the products that they sell us is definitely a dead-end street. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's definitely a dead-end street. And if you're a parent and you got children and you don't want to listen to this conversation, you're not really a good parent. I can't say you're not a good parent if you don't know no better and you haven't heard none of this information and you're just trying to raise your babies and you're just trying to feed your babies and keep a roof over their head. I can't say you're a bad parent. But if you know better, you'll do better. If you heard and somebody made you aware that you're feeding your baby cancerous substances and you keep doing it, you're a horrible parent. You are horrible, because the knowledge is put right at your footsteps and you won't go make no changes. And this is the problem I got with the Black community. The Black community want to buy the best jewelry. You want to have the best car. You want to have a good looking house. You want to have your hair done the best. You want to have on the best clothes, but you won't put the best food in your body. You take your body last. Your body's the last thing on the list, to the point our women is going to foreign countries to get all type of surgeries done to them. And we all know how that's going to end up in 20 years from now. We're going to have an epidemic of these women that then went and put these substances in their body to enhance their body, and they're going to be dropping like flies because your body's not going to Only a fool think you could put foreign stuff in your body and your body gonna be cool with it. Your body's gonna resist it. So we headed to all type of medical epidemics anyway. Because we got a depletion in the food. We got all type of chemicals we putting on our body. I just watched some experts that did the research on plastic. And they said that when they did the research, they found enough plastic in people's brain to make one of those plastic spoons. They had a plastic spoon worth of plastic in their brain. They said the research ain't conclusive yet, so they don't want to make no statements. But the only thing they could verify is that when they did this research, and most of these people, they found enough plastic in their brain to make one of them small plastic spoons. Now imagine a plastic spoon worth of plastic inside your brain. This is why you see me drinking out of glass. That's why you see I got a Berkey. That's why I'm not buying plastic water, and I'm trying to figure out how to get away from all this plastic. They want to put my bread in plastic. They want to put my food in plastic. They're trying to put all my stuff in plastic. And if you want to break away from that, you kind of like stuck because the rest of the Americans are asleep. So you ain't got nobody on your side to protest and be like, stop putting our stuff in all this plastic. They also said if you got a plastic water bottle and you leave it in the car and it get warm and you come and drink it, it's way more plastic in that bottle. So they saying those black plastic containers that they put your food in, like I go to the Jamaican restaurant and they give me that food, that hot food in that plastic. See, I got to do something about that. I'm too old to be having plastic in my body. How long I'm going to live with a plastic in my body? So now I got to disintegrate whatever plastic I got. And I can go on and on about our cookware, our clothing, all this stuff. They put so much chemicals on that stuff, you wouldn't believe it. We in just a toxic environment. Space Time said he personally know 20 diabetics, and 5 of them passed on. That's a lot of diabetics, bro. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, I'm telling you. He say his mom is diabetic, but his dad's straight. He'll be 90 February 23rd. Oh, his birthday the day after mine. Okay, tell your dad I said happy birthday. And, try to help your mom turn it around. You know what I'm saying? Try to help him turn it around. They say, and I can't verify this, but experts have said that your mom should cook her rice. And then when she cook her rice, she should put it in the refrigerator. And when she put it in the refrigerator and she eat it the next day, it won't spike her blood sugar. Do some research on that. It won't spike her blood sugar. And also, them dates won't spike her blood sugar either. So she could use them for sweetener. Like I got dates in here. Those dates, if she wants something sweet, okay, get her them big dates. And those dates won't spike her blood sugar. So she'll be able to have some sweets. It won't spike her blood sugar. They got a guy. Let me see if I can find him. They got a diabetic expert on Instagram. Let me see if I can find him. It's a white dude. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find him, but let me see. Oh, I can find him because I think I posted him. Hold on. Yep. Hold on. Got him. Okay. Okay. He is Dia Daily Care. So go follow Dia Daily Care on Instagram. Okay? If you got somebody, oh, I spelled that wrong. Hold on. Let me delete that. If you're on Instagram, or if you know people that's got diabetes, have them watch this man. Because he's taking his sugar after he tries these things. So he's actually taking his sugar, right? He's called Dia Daily Care. That's who told me about the medral dates. So if you follow him, if you know somebody that's diabetic, have them go to Instagram and follow. If they don't got it, put the app on their phone and follow. Just if you could just follow just this person, and he'll give them an update on what they can eat and what they can't eat. And he's doing the blood test as he's doing these experiments. It's called Dia Daily Care. He's really doing a great service for people. You know what I'm saying? Go check him out if you got relatives or friends that have diabetes. Diabetes is very serious. It's very serious. So watch your sugar intake, watch your starch intake, and most of all, work out. You got to exercise. You got to exercise. You know, you got to move your body. You got to burn some fat. You got to get in shape. So once again, rest in peace to Irv. And y'all support the channel, the PayPal, and the Venmo. And, get that workout in. You know what I'm saying? Hit the Cash App and hit the PayPal and get that workout in. And stay healthy. Victory and vegan.